All right, we are going to go ahead and begin the webinar. Thank you to everybody for joining us today. The topic of this webinar is a very exciting one, transitioning to Autodesk Build and what you need to know. So we'll just start off with a quick intro. My name is Matt Racher. I'm a Customer Success Manager here at Autodesk, and I will be your host for today. I started with the company just a couple of months ago and worked at a general contractor for 6 years before joining Autodesk. I've been on the customer side during the transition to Autodesk Build, so I'm going to use that experience to best navigate this webinar and to give you all the information that I needed during the Autodesk Build implementation. Our agenda for today starts with an overview of Autodesk Build, what it is, why it exists, what the benefits of Build are, and from there, we'll move on to a product demo. After the demo, we're going to have some time for a Q&A session, and I'll cover some additional resources for you along your transition to Autodesk Build. Before we begin, just a few reminders. All attendees are on mute, but you can enter your questions at any time using the Q&A box. We will address some questions as they come, and some live after the live demo. If you do want to reference this webinar in the future, the recording is going to be posted on the Autodesk Construction Cloud Learning Center. So let's dive in and cover what Autodesk Build is, why it exists, and what the benefits of it are for our customers. Autodesk Build is a newer platform that takes into consideration many of the products that Autodesk has developed and acquired over the years. When armed with Autodesk Build, teams can overcome many of the challenges faced by the industry today, and that is through the use of a common data environment. Autodesk Build provides a tool set for managing, sharing, and accessing project documents that results in a streamlined workflow between the office, trailer, and job site. In addition, you can track the quality and safety of the project with issues and forms. Using RFIs and submittals, as well as meetings to manage the flow of information in the project, Autodesk Build also connects to pre-construction workflows in Autodesk BIM 360 for collaborating on designs, coordinating models, and managing costs. The interconnection between teams, projects, and businesses don't stop with Autodesk Build. Autodesk Build is part of the unified platform for Autodesk Construction Cloud. The Autodesk Construction Cloud is a cloud-based construction management and collaboration solution. Integrations allow data to flow across all stages of construction and between products, including Assemble, BIM 360, Building Connected, PlanGrid, Pipe, and will include ProEst in the future. It connects data, workflows, and teams throughout the entire building lifecycle, from design to operations, across the headquarters, office, and job site. The following offerings are available on the Autodesk Construction Cloud platform: Autodesk BIM Collaborate, Autodesk Takeoff, Autodesk Build, as well as Autodesk Docs, which is available separately as well as included with each of the above offerings. Built on a unified platform and common data environment, the new modules empower general contractors, specialty trades, designers, and owners to drive better business outcomes. Our webinar today revolves around Autodesk Build, so let's take a closer look at what Build includes. It includes Autodesk Docs, which unifies the Autodesk Construction Cloud platform of products with a common data environment. This centralizes file management, providing users with seamless navigation and integrated workflows to create a single source of truth across the project lifecycle. Cost, while not featured on this slide, connects and improves cost management on one platform. It drives forecast accuracy and predictable cash flow with real-time information and visibility into cost-related risks. Insight delivers analytics from the data collected and analyzed, as well as the ability to export that data. This encompasses construction IQ, artificial intelligence, to identify and mitigate risk. Last but not least, we have our administration portion. This provides centralized user management and permissioning, as well as templates and other tools for projects setup, all on a single authentication method for any unified product. Autodesk Build also includes the PlanGrid Build mobile app, which empowers teams to complete tasks from anywhere on the job site with seamless access to all project data, even when offline. So what value does Autodesk Build bring to you? Autodesk Build supports teams, projects, and businesses all in a connected way. For teams, Build provides every team member with the specific tools they need to do their job and to collaborate with others, all while supporting the digitization of tasks and centralized capture of data. For projects, you can leverage project data collected by teams to drive efficiencies and connect workflows from design through turnover, while delivering a real-time view of project status. And for business, it helps understand the health of project portfolios by extracting insights from collected data and providing data-driven guidance toward the levers to pull for organizational improvement and innovation. So let's talk a little bit about the unique workflows in Build. The recurring concept for today's webinar is that if you are working to transition to Autodesk Build, say from another project like PlanGrid, for example, you may see some of these capabilities there, things like document management, project management, quality, and safety. Now, Autodesk Build has a lot of those same capabilities, but you will also see some new components too. For example, cost management. If you're coming from PlanGrid, this is an entirely new capability, one that allows you to work through budgets, change orders, and pay apps, as well as forecast costs. We also have the capability in Autodesk Build to control handover and project closeout, which in my opinion can never be started too early on a project. As-built export allows you to export project data with the click of a button, including RFIs, submittals, and sheets, to put into an archive, turnover package, or other third-party requested deliverable. These capabilities and workflows are the benefits of Autodesk Build, taking the best in class from a number of different products and building out a common platform. Today's webinar will really give you a chance to understand the benefits there and help you position how to transition to Autodesk Build. We won't necessarily be digging into how to move data over from a migration perspective. However, we will talk about some of the options that Autodesk has to help support those that are interested in making a transition to Autodesk Build. So let's talk a little bit more about those transition opportunities. I covered at a high-level overview of the different capabilities and workflows in Autodesk Build. And now I want to spend a few minutes going through those all in more detail. This will help everybody understand the benefits that Autodesk Build has over a product like PlanGrid, for example. So I mentioned earlier that Build was conceived with connected data in mind. And when we talk about the data, we can cover a broad environment of different components. We have the standard document management. We have models. We have all of your different documentation, such as assets, reports, photos, videos, cost items, and more. But now we have other components there in terms of dashboards with which you are able to identify trends. We have what's called Construction IQ, which helps project teams manage risk and improve performance day to day. It takes project data and applies analytical techniques and machine learning to transform that data into simple and actionable insights. So Autodesk Build contains a much broader environment than you typically would see when compared to any of the legacy applications. We have built out a number of enhancements that really take that administrative side much further. We have a common admin interface, which now allows us to manage all of our different applications, whether it's PlanGrid, BIM 360, or Autodesk Build, and you are working in a common environment. We also have introduced some new access controls so that when you have an improved way to assign permissions for users, In addition, we've developed a tool called the Data Connector, which allows you to extract data from all projects in your account, either by running or scheduling data extractions. The easy extraction tool offers you the flexibility to analyze data using your own business intelligence tools. So as mentioned before, we are taking a lot of the best in class from a number of different products and bringing out a much improved platform for all work cases. Now let's talk about document management tools in Autodesk Build. With products like PlanGrid, there are very popular and very powerful document management tools. Continuing that same process, we have enhanced a lot of those same key workflows, building in an optional approval process to provide more flexibility with how these documents get shared with all of your different stakeholders. Along with the standard document control and document versioning, this aligns very well with a mobile app. Whether you are in the field or in the office, you have access to either a web environment as well as a mobile app that provides a lot of these same features. So you're really able to take this information and exchange it across all of your stakeholders, no matter where you are physically. Taking that chart one step further, now I want to talk about things like project management. Again, if you're working in legacy applications, we have taken RFIs and submittals, which are core workflows, and continue to enhance them with some new features in Autodesk Build. We also have a tool for preparing meeting agendas and meeting minutes. Whether you are coming from BIM 360, this is going to look very familiar to the interface in 360. But if you're coming from PlanGrid, this is going to be a new opportunity to start to capture communication within all of your meetings, as well as assign items to project members directly within the meeting document. We'll get a chance to cover a lot of these in the live demo, but I just want to emphasize again the opportunities that exist when transitioning to Autodesk Build. I mentioned cost management earlier, which is a huge opportunity for anybody coming from a legacy product. We have the ability to track budgets and contracts, track the change order process, so any potential cost impacts due to changes can be kept on top of. We also can use this to now recognize earned value. We can start to forecast out cost and then be able to understand cash flow. Now, we all know construction has very tight margins and can be a challenging industry at times. So really anything that we can do to have a greater visibility into all these cost sides is a valuable component. Having an accurate cost forecast allows us to be more confident in making the right decision. And more importantly, it allows us to start seeing the impact of any potential decisions or identify these trends early on in order to take corrective action before things get too far along. And then if you are interested in tracking this through pay applications, we also support that workflow now. Beyond the cost side, we'll talk a little bit about quality. Autodesk Build has taken a lot of the key benefits from legacy applications and has continued to enhance them. We have improved QA/QC, punch list, checklists, and overall issues. And you'll get a chance to see all of these during the live demo. So speaking of, before we do jump into the demo, I want to reiterate that today's presentation is really intended to give you a little more insight into all the different key components of Autodesk Build. As you are thinking about making this transition, a lot of you may be thinking, hey, this looks very similar to what I'm using today. I want to understand what all of my options are. There's going to be a chance to dig into some of those with the Q&A portion of this presentation. I'll share a little bit more on what we can do to support that. For the most part, this will really be an opportunity to see what's new in Autodesk Build, and more importantly, what the opportunities are for you to take that next step. So now I'm going to go ahead and switch from the presentation over to the browser so that we can get a live demo of Build. So great. Hopefully you guys can all see that. So Build is a cloud-based application. And what you're seeing here is the web interface. I'm currently running this on Google Chrome, which is our recommended browser for using Autodesk Build, but Firefox, Safari, and Microsoft Edge will all work as well. I do think it's important to note that currently Internet Explorer 11 is not supported with the use of Autodesk Build, BIM Collaborate, Docs, or Takeoff. Mobile users are recommended to use the PlanGrid Build mobile app, which is available on both iOS and Android. And last thing is that as far as desktop operating system requirements, it really makes no difference if you're using Windows, Mac, or Linux, since Autodesk Build, BIM Collaborate, Docs, and Takeoff are all web-based products. So navigating to Build. Build, BIM Collaborate, and Takeoff subscribers can all use the product picker at the top left corner to switch between the Autodesk Construction Cloud platform products and features included in your subscription. In our project dropdown, this really becomes a unique component of Autodesk Build. So what you'll see here is a list of all of the projects that I'm currently added on. But if I do click on View All Projects, one of the benefits that I mentioned earlier with moving to Build is that if you have other projects going on within Autodesk products, like BIM 360, for example, this allows you to toggle between those projects, even though they're being run in different platforms. As you'll see here, there's some different icons that you see. The icons help you understand if these projects are in the Autodesk Construction Cloud or if they're in BIM 360. So right now you'll see here that this globe indicates the Autodesk Construction Cloud. And as I scroll down, you'll see that these two projects here are contained within BIM 360. So very easy to jump from one to the other. I also have the ability to jump over to PlanGrid, Building Connected, and Trade Tap, all from this screen up on this right-hand side. Okay, so now we're going to go back to one of our demo projects. Let me just go ahead and bring that back up. So when you first open a project, you'll be taken to the project home. Project home is where you can get a quick overview of what's happening on your Autodesk Build project. Here you'll see a series of cards, each with important real-time information about your project, including project progress. This card shows your project's progress towards completion, along with any milestones that have been added to the timeline. To add a milestone, all you have to do is just click on this blue box, create new milestone, and from there you can specify a milestone name as well as a due date. Once added to the project timeline, milestones are visible to everybody on the project. Next, we'll cover recent activity. Here you'll see a summary of all recent activity on the project, including updates to sheets, issues, and photos. And if somebody updates multiple issues at the same time, you can actually expand the list to look at each individual issue. Next, we'll go to quick links. This card gives you shortcuts to the project sheets or members pages. The number next to the sheets icon indicates how many sheets have been published on the project. And the number next to the team icon indicates how many members are currently on the project. And each one of these has quick links so that you can just jump straight to adding a new sheet or adding a new member. The site weather card. This card gives you weather for the project, and that's based on the project's address, which currently I've entered in as San Rafael, California. So if you go ahead and click Show More, you can view the 5-day weather forecast. And if you click on Detailed Forecast, you can get even more information about the weather on your job site. Work status. This card gives you a quick summary of the overdue and outstanding issues, submittals, and RFIs on your project. It also shows your assigned work as identified with meeting items and any other open meeting items. So if you click on any items in the card, you'll go directly to that associated tool. So really powerful, really good way to just give you a sort of at a glance items that are still kind of in your ball and court. Mobile sync status. Here you'll be able to see how many members of your project have the most up-to-date version of sheets and documents downloaded to their mobile devices. The number in the graph represents the number of team members working from the latest project files. As you can see here, currently, nobody out of the 2 people added on this project have updated recently. You can see when their last sync was, as well as send them a reminder that will ping that individual to go ahead and update to the latest version. Okay, so last but not least, the card that we have on Project Home is Bridge. On the Bridge card, you can view a record of content recently outgoing, your recent outgoing sheets and projects shared, as well as recent incoming sheets received from other projects. So really, this is meant to be a bridge between one project to another. So you can see your outgoing as well as your incoming. You can click on any of those recent sheets, and that'll give you a view of the details page for that shared file package and its sheets. So as we continue down the left-hand side, we'll explore some other key features. First, let's go ahead and check out Sheets. Document managers can use the Sheets tool to publish and distribute sheets for use in the field. Everyone with access to the product has access to Sheets. So you are ensuring that your team has the access to those latest drawings anytime with auto sync to your mobile device. So you'll see here that there's already a good handful of sheets that have been uploaded to the project. If you do want to upload any new sheets or new sets, all you have to do is just click this blue button, add a sheet. From here, you can either drag and drop into this box or choose a file just saved locally on your computer. So Autodesk Build does do a great job of running OCR, that's optical character recognition. And it's going to pull out some pertinent information from your sheet without you having to do anything. It's going to pull out a sheet number as well as a sheet title. So you'll see here that these sheet numbers and titles were actually automatically pulled from the sheets. I did not have to go in and manually type those in. So really powerful and really time saving, especially at project startup. So you'll notice here that there's some icons next to these sheets. Those show a few different things, whether the sheet's publicly shared, whether you have personal markups on a sheet or published markups. So you can use the markup tool to call attention to details on your drawings and share them with your team for better collaboration. We'll go ahead and jump into a sheet that currently has a markup on it. And here you can see that the markup is calling out that there is a RFI related to this area of the sheet. And from here, you can choose to link in a reference. You'll see that RFI number 1 is linked in to this markup. So all you have to do is just click on it and you'll jump straight to that reference. You can also see that this RFI is published for everybody on the project, meaning that it's public, anybody can see it. If I want to make a markup that is just personal, something that I don't want everybody on the project to see, all I have to do is just click that button. All of a sudden, it just becomes a personal markup and nobody else can see it. So I would say the markups really help all members across a project communicate on updates, changes, and critical information. The markup tool over here on the right-hand side, the tool set really offers a variety of options for members to manage and fine-tune an additional layer of information on top of construction records. You can see that in addition to a text box, you can also do some freehand writing or circling, any sort of shapes that you want. You can cloud as well as do a call out box. So really, really powerful. And markups, they're really not limited to the web interface. You can also do them from the PlanGrid Build mobile app to communicate on installation instructions, add measurements, and to ask about the perhaps like incorrect room dimensions. And you can also link important information such as other sheets and files directly to the floor plan. So you can see that when you do go ahead and add a reference, you're not limited to just RFIs. You can do sheets, files, forms, submittals, so on and so forth. So I can talk for a long time about sheets, but I think it's important that we continue running down the list. And next up will be files. So the files tool, it allows you to organize your product data with folders and to control permissions for certain files as needed. So when you start a project, it really starts with 2 root folders for the field, as well as project files. The difference between these two, for the field, it allows project members to view folders and files within this folder. It's really denoted with the hard hat icon that you can see here. Anything contained in for the field is going to have this icon so that you can just automatically see. And this can be used to share files with everybody on the project. On the flip side, project files, this root folder, it's used to organize files that aren't ready for the field. Permissions can be applied to the top level folder or any of the individual folders from there on. It will really allow you to control your access to the subfolders. So you can see here that you can add either an individual, a role, or a company. So this really gives you some flexibility in terms of who can see these folders. For example, if we were to go to our design files folder, really we would want to maybe just keep this to the project team as well as the architect. So you can see that that is exactly what we have for permissions in this folder. And one of the great things about files is that sheets can actually be published directly from the files tool. So if your sheet exists in a file, such as this one here, which is our issued for construction drawing package, if we've gone ahead and reviewed this and we feel that it's ready to be published out to our sheets, all we have to do is click on this, hit publish, and just like that, we're coming up with a new version set, and that OCR is going to be run on each of these sheets to pull out the sheet numbers, as well as the titles and tags. So really, really easy, easy way to sort of house your files until you are ready to publish them. Moving on to issues. This is really a module for centralized issue management. So you can manage all design, quality, and safety issues from one place. Once you configure the issues tool, which you can do by going to the settings here, you can really make sure that your team will be able to create issues quickly and easily from the field. This makes it simple to identify problems, prevent delays, and manage work on your project. With greater visibility and the ability to track progress, you're going to be able to deliver quality work on time. So you can go ahead and create an issue straight from the issues module. Give it any status that you want, whether it's open or it's gone into pending or in review. Many different types. These are customizable as well. You are not limited to just the types that are, automatically defaulted and baked in with Autodesk Build. And from there, you can even select a location. So you can assign a room number to any issue, as well as a due date and a start date. But you do have some flexibility when you create an issue. You can also go back to a sheet, bring up any sheet that you would want to pin an issue on. We'll go back to our A101 sheet that we saw before. You can see that there's multiple issues that are currently pinned to this sheet. In order to create an issue, all you would have to do is just go ahead and select your issue type, click exactly which area that you want to mark that issue in, and then you can fill out all of the same issue or the same information that you had from the issues tab right here. So really trying to let you all know about the flexibility of Autodesk Build. This is a common data environment. these are not separate buckets. The intent is for all these tools to really work together. So all issues on your project are accessible in the issues log. And from here, you really get the option to sort, filter, and search from issues on your project. Once you do select any of these issues, you can edit its attributes as well as change any assignees. Okay, great. So issues, super powerful. Another tool that I could talk about all day, but I know that we don't have all the time in the world. So let's move on to forms. The forms tool in Autodesk Build, it really enables your team to securely fill out, review, and manage project forms. You can create checklists and daily logs for your team, and they can complete the forms on site, in the trailer, or at the office. Again, these can be filled out on the web or from your mobile app. So really, really flexible in that way. The intent of forms is to give your team a single secure point of reference and a way to coordinate data, collections, photos, and follow-up documents. So I think the best way to really show forms is just to dig into one. So here's a daily log that I had created. You can see here that I went ahead and pinned the weather up top. If there are any sort of rain days or weather delays associated with a day, it'll go ahead and pull that day's forecast right into your daily log. So really powerful on that way. Then we can go to our work log. Here, you can say what crew is working, how many workers, total hours, and really put in all of the day's information. Last but not least, you do get many different options to customize. Here, one of the things that I wanted was to have a box for a signature. So I went ahead and put that in, and you can sign directly from the web interface, or even more easily from the mobile app, just using your finger. So that's what a form looks like. Anybody on your team can fill out a form, whether through the web or a mobile app. Like I said, Autodesk Build, it does come with a set of pre-configured form templates. We'll see these in the sample reports. You have your daily log, safety log, job hazard analysis, and a timesheet. So you can get started with those right away, right from the get-go, or you can create your own, such as I did for this elevator inspection checklist. So forms, super, super powerful. One of the things that would be good for digging in on, perhaps in another call, is also showing what it's like to use smart PDFs that you import as a form. But for now, I do want to move on to the Photos module. So under the Photos tool, you can really capture what's happening in the field and share it with stakeholders in a central gallery of photos and videos. Here, you can see your whole gallery, all the photos on a project. It's a single unified place to view and manage photos and videos. And it's useful for everything from documenting progress photos to any sort of informal communication and material tracking. So everybody on your project does have the ability to upload photos and videos. That includes directly from the mobile app. So, say that you are filling out a punch list item and you do just decide to use your iPad to take a photo. Not only will that photo be referenced in the issue that you're filling out, it'll also appear here in the gallery. Another great thing is when you do take a photo from an iPad, iPhone, Android tablet, what have you, it does carry over that metadata, and you'll be able to see where that photo was taken here on the map. Obviously, it doesn't really work too well for this test project, since these are all just kind of dummy photos that got inserted, but it will use that metadata to pull out a location. Great, so RFIs and submittals. I'm sure everybody on this call is used to filling out RFI submittals, know how it works within other legacy platforms. But I do want to show what the differences are when you do transition to Autodesk Build. So you can manage and connect RFIs directly from this RFIs tool. I showed earlier on the sheets how RFIs can be linked, and you can also link them to tasks. You can escalate issues to an RFI, as well as link RFIs to potential change orders, PCOs, to streamline your workflow and reduce the risk of data loss. So what I think really sets Autodesk Build apart from any of our competitors is RFI Workflow. So, after this is set up, it really makes it easy to know how a RFI starts from conception to closed and distributed. So with our RFI workflow found under the settings, you can move RFIs between contractors, managers, and reviewers. To move the RFIs through the workflow, you do use the workflow bar. So what I'm showing here is an example of the different workflows. You can either do sort of a simplified one of just going from creator to manager to reviewer, or you can get a little bit more advanced and add an additional reviewer. And to show you all what this looks like, we do have the project that I'm currently going through, the demo project set as default. We'll go back to one of our RFIs. So when you do jump into here, you'll see that this is what I mean by the workflow up top. So, this started as a RFI that was in process, got submitted by me, moved on to one of my colleagues, Julia, for review, and is currently at the answer and approved stage. So all somebody would have to go do now, as long as they are the manager, is they can close and distribute it if they feel like this RFI has been adequately answered, which I'm seeing right now, there is no suggested answer, so we wouldn't want to do that. If we do feel like this needs to be bumped back to a step back to the reviewer, all you have to do is just hit return to reviewer, put in some reasoning, due date, add a comment, and this will get bumped back. So really, really easy in that sense. Submittals largely works the same way. Our goal with the submittals tool in Autodesk Build was to simplify submittals. You can create and track submittal items and manage all of your information in a single submittal log here. So submittals are grouped into items, which we see up top, as well as packages. So this consists of a number of our items. Just as people used to do within maybe like a spreadsheet to keep track of a submittal log. The great thing with Autodesk Build is now the submittal log is available for people to just pull up, and they don't need to constantly be asking for that submittal spreadsheet or filling it out from like a local document saved on your computer. This is saved into the cloud, and therefore it is available to the people on the project that you want to have interactions with the submittals. So submittal workflow, this, as I mentioned, does work very, very similarly to our RFI workflow. If we do go into one of these submittals, you can see that we have these same boxes up top. Your project administrators, they define the submittal managers and create submittal responses for the project from that settings menu. So when we're in a submittal, you can use this blue box to advance the workflow bar and really progress the submittal to the next person or send it back, as we saw before. So submittals and RFIs, the goal wasn't really to reinvent the wheel, but to rather just make enhancements on what we had already seen with our legacy products. Our meetings tool. This is going to look very similar if you're used to how it looks within BIM 360, but if you're coming from a product like PlanGrid, this is going to be totally new. So our goal is to improve meetings. We want to track commitments made, link any essential documents right into our meetings, and keep an organized history of our meeting records. So the meetings tool, it can be used to create a meeting. Once you're in a meeting, you can also track attendance. So that going by invitees, if I had multiple here, you would just put your check mark next to mark attended. You can create an agenda as you see right here. So go ahead and fill out your meeting items, 2-week look ahead, meeting summary, any attachments that you want to put on here. It can be a file uploaded from your local computer, or you can go ahead and insert references that are saved on Autodesk Build already, sheets, files, different sort of items that we have. And then once you have filled out this agenda and you've gone through the meeting, you can then just use this drop down and flip this over to meeting minutes, and really have something that you can carry on throughout the course of a meeting. So as we're going through multiple subcontractor meetings, we can really just keep on using this to create follow-up meetings. So really, really easy in that way. You'll see that some of the examples that we have here are sub meetings, BIM coordination meetings, OAC, but you can really create any sort of meeting that you want. So really, really a configurable tool. And we're always excited to see how people are using it in new and interesting ways. So schedule. This is a tool that I am very, very excited to talk about. It is relatively new. It's come out of beta. And really what you can do here is it allows for the importing of schedule from a third-party tool for easy viewing directly within Autodesk Build. So not only can you view, you can also share and collaborate. So the currently supported formats, that includes Primavera P6, Microsoft Project, as well as Asta Power Project. But we are looking at other formats down the line. Those 3 are really just what are supported as of today. And when you do import a submittal and click on it, you'll see that you can view it either as a list, Gantt chart, or both. You see right here, I do have list and Gantt chart showing. From here, you can add references to relevant objects from across the product to each schedule activity. Also really good filtering tools. You have your search box up here in case your schedule does get very long. But you can also use the filter tool. And we do have a variety of different options that you can filter with from here. So really powerful. We're excited to see how people use the scheduling tools, and we're excited to keep on improving upon this. Really, schedule is something that is new for Autodesk Build. This did not come from any of our legacy products. So really, really excited for that. Next, are nearing the end of our demo here. I do want to show off assets. So the assets tool, this is another highly configurable one. It allows teams to easily track and manage the life cycle of all the projects, assets, and equipment. And you can really manage them from design through commissioning and then handover. So say that we wanted to track our air handling unit here. You see that some of the categories that we do have for status are ordered, delivered, all the way up to your pre-functional tests, functional tests, acceptance and post-acceptance. But all of those are customizable. You do not have to just rely on what was, the defaults baked into Autodesk Build. Any of these can be customized from our settings. So really excited to see what people do with this. So with assets, our team can access and track an asset from its specification to acceptance. I already showed how we can really customize that status step And with this, it's easy to maintain an inventory of your job site equipment, carry out any inspections you have. You can document defects right from the assets, and also generate issues related to assets for quick resolution. So assets can, be related directly to issues. Again, I really preach that common data environment and our single source of truth, just making sure that none of these are separate buckets, but that they're all really interconnected. Assets is definitely something that I wish I had back when I was in the construction industry. You'll see here that one of the categories that I created was attic stock for closeout. This is something that when I was an assistant project manager, I had to just do all within a spreadsheet. And so having it live in the cloud and be configurable by anybody on the project, really, really easy. Means that you don't have people popping their heads in your office and saying, hey, this got delivered and on what date. And instead, you can have those people go in and update it directly from the web interface. So really, really good and powerful since it is contained in the cloud. Reporting tool. This is something that existed all the way back from BIM 360 Field Classic, made its way into Next Gen, and we're excited to say has been enhanced for Autodesk Build. The reports tool, it provides a central location to create, configure, schedule, and view reports. So you can create a one-off report at any time, but you will see that as you make your way through the report, when you do fill out all this pertinent information and run it, it'll actually give you the option to schedule this. So you can schedule for, say, like a weekly report to be run. Say if you always want a RFI and submittal report to be ready for your OAC meeting, you can have it run on the morning of, just first thing in the morning, have that available to you. And you really don't have to think about, oh, shoot, we're 5 minutes before the meeting and I forgot to run this report. So making life easier for yourself. Reports, they can be generated by project administrators, but any of these reports that have already been generated are viewable to project members. So say that you do have a punch list report that's been created, that subcontractor can go in and see their items on that punch list report. It'll show up to them in this running list. Our members tab. So as the name implies, you will see all the members currently added on a project. Project administrators, they do have the ability to manage all project members and their respective properties from the members tool. Properties, that includes their company, their role, the access level that they have, whether they're a project member or a project admin, and then access to individual products. So say if you want to give somebody access to not only Build, but also if you have a subscription to Autodesk Takeoff, you can change that from this list. So yes, you can also go in, click on any individual, change these items directly from this page. When you do click an individual, it's not going to jump you to a new tab like used to be an annoyance within BIM 360 Next Gen. Instead, you can edit multiple people just by staying on this page and not having to constantly jump back. And from here, you can choose their assigned products and permissions, as I mentioned before, flipping on or off any of these individual toggles. Okay, so we have run through all of these items that you see on this left-hand sidebar. I did mention earlier how when you do this dropdown, you can access not only your product that's Autodesk Build, you can also access BIM Collaborate or Takeoff if you have that. Well, the items that you do get with Autodesk Build, you actually get cost management at no extra charge. Cost management is included with Autodesk Build. So you get to that by doing this dropdown, and it enables you to manage the cost and budget changes on your project. So as the project progresses, the budgets can change for a variety of reasons, and using the cost management module to track these changes, coordinate change orders, and understand the financial impact of each change to the project's bottom line, it's going to be really, really helpful throughout the life cycle of your project. So you do access those different tools here from the left-hand side. So not only can you manage all of those items that I said before, your budget, your cost, your change order, but you can also manage your payments. So manage pay applications and track payments against the total work to be completed, and all of that directly from Autodesk Build. So no longer do you need a separate platform to really keep on top of your cost management. So we really want to make sure that everything that you need is baked in here directly into Build. Speaking of Autodesk Docs, that is included with Autodesk Build, also included with BIM 360, or sorry, BIM Collaborate, as well as Autodesk Takeoff. So Autodesk Docs, it's, as I mentioned, included in that common data environment. You can send files for review using the approval workflow feature in this reviews tool. I think this is extraordinarily helpful. Say if one of your projects has a very, very new person to the industry on it, maybe a project engineer, and you don't want anything to, you want to basically have like the training wheels, but you want your reviews to flow through somebody who has a little bit more seniority. That's where this reviews tool comes in. So you can really set up that anything that they create is flowed through an APM, a superintendent, project manager, what have you. And from there is either approved or rejected and sent back to them. So as a document manager, you need to distribute project drawings, models, and files for review and approval. And that's all before construction can begin. So the approval workflow feature, it enables document managers to facilitate, control, and also automate the distribution of files to project members. Members designated as reviewers can then review and comment on the files, and members designated as approvers can give that final approval for the files to be used. You'll also see that we have a transmittals tool here. Transmittals tool that allows you to see a list of all the transmittals along with details like status, ID, title, sender, so on and so forth. You'll see here this demo project. We currently don't have any transmittals, but if we did, it would be a running list right here. Okay, very last thing that I want to show for our demo here, but I actually think this is easily one of the most important and powerful tools that we have, and that is our Autodesk Insight tool. This may be familiar to you if you were a BIM 360 Next Gen user. Well, the Insight tool, it delivers our unified project level data, analytics, and predictive insights, which will help you get up to speed with what's going on a project. You can access trends and patterns in project data. It'll allow you to identify any gaps and problems, as well as use predictive risk data to improve project efficiency. So you'll see here that not only do we have the quote unquote my dashboard that I can go into and customize with any cards that I want. You'll see that we also have dashboards for risk, design, project control, quality, and safety already baked in. On risk, for example, you'll see that some of these tabs have, or cards have a construction IQ indicator at the bottom. Construction IQ, it helps project teams manage risk and improve performance day to day. So the point is really to take project data and apply analytical techniques and machine learning to transform that data into simple and actionable insights. The daily risk assessment feature uses algorithms to sort through hundreds of thousands of project issues. And it'll allow you to categorize and prioritize the highest risk projects, subcontractors, and issues that might need a little extra attention each day. So really, really powerful. I think the fact that Autodesk Build offers this AI and machine learning cannot be understated on how valuable this can be for a project team. But not only do you get these baked in dashboards, but there's also ones that you can create just by going up to this plus sign. You'll see here that I have some dummy ones, one for a designer, owner, and subcontractor. If we jump to an owner dashboard, this is something that I envision could probably be used at the start of an OAC meeting. So here you can customize and feature different cards depending on what data you want to view for your project. So on this dashboard, we have our list our project RFIs, project submittals, but we also have cards that are accessible from a card library, including some partner cards based on third-party applications. So you'll see here that from this running list, I actually chose to add cards for OxBlue and OpenSpace. All I would have to do is just configure the cards by entering in a URL. And then right here from this dashboard would be the live OxBlue camera, as well as our OpenSpace, which is a platform that allows for like 360 site walks with a 360 camera. So you can have all of these accessible right from the dashboard. So really, really configurable, as you've probably heard me say today. Okay, so that is what we have for our live demo. It is at this point that I think that we should go ahead and jump to the Q&A portion. So I see that we've had some questions logged into the Q&A portion here. Go ahead and drag those off to the side. So the first one here from Samuel. So you say, what about scheduling? Autodesk does not do scheduling. So we do have the integration with the third-party schedule platforms to import those into Autodesk Build. The intention isn't to have a schedule from the ground up in Autodesk Build, but rather to use it in conjunction with those platforms and then be able to use those schedules to really have more sort of actionable items. Like I said, you can take any of those running items through a schedule and then make those an issue directly. So really having that single place where we want everything to be contained on a project. So hopefully that answers your question there, Samuel. Brett, you ask, can the photos come from integrate with HoloBuilder? That is a great question. Unfortunately, I do not have any prior sort of experience with HoloBuilder. So that's going to be a tough one for me to answer, but I will talk to some of our product experts and we can get a follow-up on that question after the webinar. I know that the photos module really great for having all of your photos and videos in one place as they are taken from that PlanGrid Build mobile app, which is also how you access your Autodesk Build project. Both of those are contained in that PlanGrid Build mobile app. But HoloBuilder, great question. And Brett, you have another question here, which is, can you auto-populate project milestones from the schedule? So the milestones that I believe you're asking on the project homepage, so that is not directly linked into the scheduling tool. However, you do have the option within that scheduling tool to really expand upon any of the individual items. You can sort of highlight them there and make those into your project milestones, quote unquote. But the progress tracker and milestones that I showed on the project homepage, that's a little bit more for a at a glance type item, just when you first open up a project. So that is not directly integrated with the schedule tool, but that is a good idea. Salim, I see you have a question. Can we push clashes from Navisworks to Autodesk Build? Great question. Yes, Autodesk Build, you are able to bring in both 2D and 3D models into Autodesk Build and be able to view and do a little bit of light transformation with them there. Your question about pushing clashes from Navisworks, that would actually be something that would, I believe, require the use of BIM Collaborate. So it would be BIM Collaborate in conjunction with Autodesk Build. And once you have that, you do get a tool called Model Coordination. So I can actually show that, what that looks like real fast. I know this is supposed to be pretty strictly for Autodesk Build, but I do know that we do have some time here. So we go ahead and bring back up our browser. So when you do go to this Model Coordination tab, it's going to search your Autodesk Build files or your files on Autodesk Docs if you do not have a subscription to Build. And from there, we have all of our models in one place. We can choose to select all of them at the same time and really view them as sort of a federated model, sort of in the same way that you would do with something like Glue in the past. You'll see here that you also do have this clash tool right from the left-hand side within Model Coordination. So again, this does require access to BIM Collaborate, but it is a great tool to use in conjunction with Autodesk Build. And then the third piece rounding that out being Autodesk Takeoff for pre-construction, doing your quantity takeoff. All right, so I'll go ahead and bring back up the PowerPoint presentation. Really hope that that answered your question. And I believe that was the last one. Let me look in the chat and make sure that there's just nothing that I'm missing here. Okay, I believe that that is everything that we had. So from here, thank you all for your questions. Really appreciate those. We're here to serve you and sort of make your transition to Autodesk Build as easy and as streamlined as possible. All that being said, our additional resources, I do see where Carla, my colleague, has already posted these links into the chat. The Autodesk Construction Cloud Learning Center. I cannot understate or overstate just how powerful this website is. So this has sort of on-demand courses for everything you could want to know for Autodesk Build, Autodesk Docs, Autodesk Takeoff, and BIM Collaborate, all the pieces of the Autodesk Construction Cloud. So you get those on-demand courses. You can do them on your time, sort of at your leisure, and really have a deep dive into how each of these sort of functions are used in a way that I wasn't able to cover in our hour here. In conjunction, we also do have a delivery services team. So delivery services, if you have not yet heard of this department within Autodesk, they have worked with thousands of customers to provide training and a great deployment experience, really tailored for your company. So that link or that email address has also been dropped into our chat, I believe. All right, from here, if you want to stay connected with us, we do have product news, have this URL, our construction blog for Autodesk. I actually take a look at this a near daily basis. It's a great way for me to sort of learn what is, the new features that are implemented each day in the Autodesk Construction Cloud. So great website there. Our office hours. You'll get to join our team of experts, get questions answered. So, just like we did today. Great. Oh, sorry about that. I lost my PowerPoint. Let me bring that back up. Sorry, skipped ahead one slide. All the list of our upcoming webinars and events, those have also been posted in the chat by Carla. Everybody, please say thank you to Carla for helping out today. And our recordings of webinars, including the one that you guys have been on today with me, that can also be found on our past webinars. So I just want to say one more time, thank you everybody for joining today. Really appreciate it. And that's everything that our team wanted to cover today for this webinar. And again, the name of the webinar is Transitioning to Autodesk Build, What You Need to Know. Autodesk, we want to make this experience really as simple and as streamlined for you as possible. So we do appreciate you taking the time and the initiative to learn a little bit more about Autodesk Build. So thank you again, and I hope all of you have a fantastic day.